They're hesitating because they've been burned before, and the fear of reliving that pain keeps them from taking the leap with you. Their silence isn't indifference. It's the fear that if they say too much, they might reveal the parts of themselves they're not ready for you to see. They're holding back because they're terrified of giving you their all, only to find out that it was never enough. They've built up emotional walls over the years, and while they want to let you in, they're not sure how to tear those walls down. They're scared that if they give in to their feelings for you, they might lose the sense of identity they've carefully crafted over time. The truth is, they've been through too much, and the idea of letting someone else in feels like too big of a risk. They're holding back because they're afraid that the more they care, the more vulnerable they become to getting hurt again. They're scared that if they let you in, you'll see the broken pieces they've tried so hard to keep hidden from the world. They want to love you, but they're terrified that opening up will mean exposing their deepest insecurities. They're holding back because they've been disappointed too many times before, and they're afraid of setting themselves up for another fall. They're scared that if they let themselves fall for you, they might lose the control they've worked so hard to maintain in their life. Their hesitation is rooted in a fear of abandonment. If they let themselves care too much, they worry you might leave them when they need you most. They're holding back because they're afraid that once you get to know the real them, you might not want to stay. They've been hurt in ways you can't even imagine, and it's hard for them to believe that love won't eventually lead to more pain. They're scared that if they open up to you, they might end up losing the independence they've always valued so much. They're holding back because they're terrified that their past mistakes might come back to haunt them in this relationship. They've been let down too many times, and now they're afraid to believe in something as fragile as love. They're scared that if they give you their heart, you might not handle it with the care it desperately needs. They want to love you, but the fear of losing you keeps them from fully embracing their feelings. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they let go, they might fall apart, and they're not sure they'd be able to put themselves back together again. They've been through so much pain that they've started to believe that love is just another way to get hurt. They're scared that if they let themselves care too much, they might end up being the only one invested in this relationship. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they reveal their true self, you might not like what you see. They want to trust you, but the scars of past betrayals make it hard for them to fully believe in the sincerity of your love. They're scared that if they let you in, you might see the darker sides of their personality, the sides they've kept hidden from everyone else. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they let themselves fall for you, they might end up losing themselves in the process. They want to love you, but they're terrified that doing so might mean giving up the emotional safety they've built for themselves. They're scared that if they give you their heart, you might not protect it the way they need you to. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they let go, they might end up being hurt in ways they can't recover from. They've been let down too many times before, and now they're afraid to believe that love could be any different with you. They're scared that if they let themselves fall for you, they might end up losing the sense of control they've always relied on. They want to love you, but the fear of getting hurt keeps them from fully opening up. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they let themselves care too much, they might end up being the only one invested in this relationship. They've been through so much pain that they've started to believe that love is just another way to get hurt. They're scared that if they let themselves care too much, they might end up being the only one invested in this relationship. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they reveal their true self, you might not like what you see. They want to trust you, but the scars of past betrayals make it hard for them to fully believe in the sincerity of your love. They're scared that if they let you in, you might see the darker sides of their personality, the sides they've kept hidden from everyone else. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they let themselves fall for you, they might end up losing themselves in the process. They're caught in a web of doubt, unable to fully commit because the scars of past betrayals still haunt their every move. They love you, but fear paralyzes them. They're terrified that if they open up, you might just be the one to break them again. No matter how much they care, they're not ready to give their all. They're scared that vulnerability will make them weak. They're holding back because deep down, they fear you might not be able to handle the darker sides of their past. The truth is, they've built walls around their heart to protect themselves from pain, but those same walls are keeping you out. They can't let go of their past mistakes, and it's preventing them from embracing the future they could have with you. The reality is, they're still struggling to figure out who they are, and they don't want to drag you into their inner chaos. Their hesitation isn't about you. It's about the fear that they might never be enough for anyone, no matter how hard they try. They've been hurt so many times before that they're afraid to believe in the possibility of true happiness with you. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they let you in, they might lose the sense of control they've worked so hard to maintain. They want to give you everything, but they're scared that they might end up giving more than they can afford to lose. Their past still haunts them, and they can't shake the fear that history might repeat itself if they allow themselves to fully love again. They don't trust easily, and it's not because of anything you've done. It's because of the countless times they've been let down before. They see the potential for something beautiful with you, but the fear of the unknown keeps them from diving in. They're terrified that if they reveal their true self, you might not like what you see, and that fear holds them back every single day. They're stuck in a loop of self-doubt, always questioning if they're worthy of the love you're offering them. The truth is, they're afraid that once you see their flaws and imperfections, you'll decide they're not worth the effort. They're holding back because they don't want to risk losing the safety of solitude for the uncertainty of love. They want to love you freely, but they're scared that love might come with conditions they're not ready to meet. Their heart is a fortress built to keep out the pain, but in doing so, it's also keeping out the love you're trying to give. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they fall for you, they might fall apart in the process. They struggle to believe in happy endings, and it's hard for them to imagine a future where everything doesn't eventually fall apart. They're still wrestling with the ghosts of their past, and it's keeping them from fully embracing what they could have with you. They're scared that love might demand more of them than they're capable of giving right now. They're holding back because they fear that if they open up, they'll lose the independence they've fought so hard to keep. They've been through so much that they're afraid to believe in anything good, even when it's standing right in front of them. They're terrified that loving you might mean losing themselves in the process, and that's a risk they're not sure they can take. They want to trust you, but the wounds from their past make it hard for them to believe in the sincerity of your intentions. Their heart has been shattered before, and they're afraid that if they give it to you, it might not survive another break. They're holding back because they're scared that once you see their vulnerabilities, you might no longer see them as strong. They're struggling with their own self-worth, and it's hard for them to believe that anyone could truly love them for who they are. They fear that their past mistakes will come back to haunt them if they try to start fresh with you. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they let go, they might lose the control they've spent years building. They're scared that if they give you their heart, you might not cherish it the way they desperately need you to. They're holding back because they fear that the love they offer might never be enough to satisfy the deep hunger in your soul. They want to love you, but the pain of their past is a constant reminder of how much it can hurt to care too deeply. They're still haunted by the ghosts of relationships that went wrong, and it's hard for them to believe that this time could be different. They're scared that if they let you in, you might discover the parts of them that they've worked so hard to hide from the world. They're holding back because they're afraid that if they give you everything, they might be left with nothing if things go wrong. They're terrified that love might make them vulnerable to the kind of pain they've spent their whole life trying to avoid.